Hey, so this week I talked to a couple of different friends about personal situations and things that they're dealing with, and it started getting me thinking again about this whole idea of options and who people should be talking to when they're thinking through things. In this video, I'm going to pose a scenario, and I'd love if you do have suggestions or you have questions, something that would be relevant. Would love for you to add those in the comment section and let me know, hey, what additional things should this person be thinking about? But let me give you the kind of a 10,000 foot view of the scenario. All right, so this is a good friend of mine, and they've recently purchased a house for themselves a few years ago. They have an amazing interest rate, and they currently have some pretty decent equity in their property. What they're experiencing, though, is they have a family member, a mom, who is at the stage right now where she owns her home, has a very small mortgage on it. It's got plenty of equity in it, but they're trying to figure out what they're going to, whether she can stay in her home, whether someone should move in with her, and what that looks like. So they're exploring all of these options, and we got on the phone, and of course, I think about the rental side. Should they rent out their primary property? Should they move in with her is one of the things that they're exploring. Should they sell their house and move in with her? And then thinking through all of these different scenarios and what could happen at each stage. So we start talking through it, and I'm thinking through it like this, and it's going, okay, so if they were to sell their property right now, and this is something that a lot of people are stuck with in this market. If someone bought in the last few years or they refinanced and got amazing interest rates on their home, the option for them to, let's say they could sell their home right now, right? Get rid of that amazing interest rate of 2.5% to 3% or whatever it is, and lose that interest rate, and then at some point in the future have to buy again. Their ability to purchase, because home values haven't really shifted much. If at all, they're still, pretty strong. So they would have to then at some point get back into the market. And what does that look like? So that option is tough, right? So they could rent. This is a good option because they do have plenty of potential upside to cash flow. But that then makes them renters or landlords, and do they really want that? And it's really exploring the options of, does that really make sense to them in their lives, and talking through what that looks like. Then there's the option of moving into, renting, moving in with the mom. So now moving into with the mom, she's got siblings. So it's making sure that the trust is built out, because if something were to happen, and again, these are all conversations we don't want to have because they're sometimes tough. It's hard to talk about what happens with end of life or what happens in this situation or that. But it's like, we see it all the time when people just hadn't thought through it well enough, and a house is stuck in probate forever, and siblings can't figure out because they're squabbling as to what's really going to happen with a property, and things just go sideways for the family. And it's like, what makes that easier is, talking to a trust attorney on the front end, talking to a tax advisor, making sure that if they were to sell their property, which looks like they would be just at that level of, the capital gains, because they bought at a very, very good time. So, what does that look like, and how is that structured, just to make sure that they're not in a tough spot, even though maybe their capital gains would be minimal at best. But then also moving in with the mom, if they were to start investing money into her property after moving in there, because now maybe they need a little more space, so they're going to add a little more extra room to it. What does that look like by the way of trust and with siblings, and who's responsible for what? And now, what does that recoup cost, right? I'm thinking about it from an investment side of things. If my friend is investing in an asset that she technically doesn't own, what's going to happen with her potential investment after, let's say they have to sell the property or whatever happens? So that stuff's got to be baked into a contract. That's got to be baked into a trust or whatever. I don't know, if that is a trust that they would need to put that into. But again, thinking through all of these options and knowing that there isn't one way to get something done in this market, I think is super, super important. Just talking through it and making sure that, hey, if you're looking at an option, it's almost like putting it out there to the universe and asking lots of different people in different fields what their thoughts are and what they think the best possible solution would be. Because again, I don't have the answer for this particular situation, because it's very personal to them. And this is something that, yes, this is the very early stages of this conversation. However, it's good to really have the hard conversations and ask the hard questions on the front end, which I see sometimes we just struggle with doing because we're all human, right? Cool. I hope you have an amazing weekend. It's getting hot out here. My pool's looking a little bit green. I had it dialed here for son graduated from high school a couple weeks ago, and we had a good shindig here at the house, and it took me 3 weeks to get this flipping pool looking amazing, and it's already turning. It's like, dang, I thought I was a pool professional for a minute. Thanks for watching.